Chapter 141, Guyu Qingshu vs. by Ning Bing, Part 2. Under the power of the rank 3 Gu worm, Qingshu's eyes turned into a jade-green colored AT. This moment, his aura changed. From a vibrant human, it turned into a deep, serene forest feeling. Oh. Bai Ning Bing showed slight shock unknowingly. He pouted in dissatisfaction. It seems that after a long time, you've gained some interesting new skills. Icicle Gu dipped, he willed the Gu, and 5 sharp icicles appeared out of nowhere. Go. Bai Ning Bing's ice hand pointed, and the icicle shot out. Pow, pow, pow. From Qingshu's palms, 2 vines grew out. The vines danced in the air like 2 snakes, dancing agilely, easily deflecting the icicles. The icicle changed directions, only scraping Qingshu's shoulder, and stabbed deeply into the ground, the hard mountain rock, and the forest that stood like a statue. Qingshu easily broke through the attack, causing Bai Ning Bing's attack to be futile. Bai Ning Bing laughed coldly. Your whipping skills got better, but I want to see. How many icicles can you block? Saying so, Bai Ning Bing's eyes shone with a mild blue light. 10 icicles appeared immediately, floating in front of him before shooting towards Qingshu. After that, 10 more were created, like this. Over several times, it turned into an icicle rain. Swoosh. The icicle tore through the air, emitting a sound that shocked people's hearts. Qingshu dodged while manipulating his green vine with both hands, dancing like a shadow. His whipping technique, after countless practices, had gotten to a level where he could command them like his fingers, fully in sync. But there was too many icicles. Qingshu was bound to miss some, and his shoulder was hit by an icicle. The icicle penetrated his right shoulder, and the tip appeared from behind him. Pin needle Gu. Qingshu controlled the pain, sweeping his long hair. From the tips of his hair, numerous jade-colored pin needles shot out. The pin needles engulfed Bai Ning Bing, but he managed to activate the water shield Gu in time. It had gotten stronger too, and was much thicker than before, being no weaker than a rank 3 Gu worm's defense. The pin needles entered the water shield and slowed to a halt, before being purged by the water currents. But this also forced Bai Ning Bing to stop his icicle attack. Seeing this opportunity, Qingshu ignored the pain and pulled out the icicle from his shoulder by force. There was no blood dripping out. One was due to the icicle's cold air, and the other was because his body was gradually turning into wood. Bai Ning Bing kept the water shield Gu, his gaze attracted to Guyu Qingshu's injury. From the opening on his torn shirt, he could see Qingshu's injury, revealing the rings of the tree trunk, and his flesh could be seen recovering at an observable speed, and on the newly grown muscles, the tree's ring. Lines were formed at the same time. Both his ears started to become longer, and his hair turned jade green, with green leaves growing within. Both his hands, from the fleshy color of a normal person, turned darker and more reserved. His skin became harder, and turned into the brown tree bark. This was the first time he had used the wood charm Gu, without considering the consequences. The wood charm Gu was causing him to turn into a tree spirit, and at the same time, Guyu Qingshu could feel the rich natural essence in the air. These essence could not be felt by ordinary Gu masters. Only special life forms like tree spirits could feel, absorb, and use them. Guyu Qingshu felt that he was soaking in his mother's liquid, thick essence enveloping him, giving him a strong sense of fulfillment on his body. The Moonwhirl Gu did not change, but the green vine Gu, pin needle Gu, and the vitality grass all showed signs of growth. With Qingshu's identity as a tree spirit, when he uses these would attribute Gu worms, their power is amplified. Guyu Qingshu breathed deeply. He had never felt so strong before. The rich natural essence gave him an almost infinite source of primeval essence to use. This was the power of the wood charm Gu. But in his heart, a deep sense of fear also rose. He knew that if he was greedy over this strong and comfortable feeling, and used the wood charm Gu without restraint, he would eventually turn into a dead treeman. Anything had its price. Guyu Qingshu soon suppressed this fear. He stared at Bai Ning Bing and said 2 words, "Let's fight." Thus, the intense battle started. Green vine versus ice blade. Icicle versus pin needles. One was the northern dark ice soul physique, with insane primeval essence recovery rate, and the other was the wood charm tree spirit, using all the natural essence as his own. This battle had far surpassed the realm of ordinary rank 3 Gu masters. Fang Yuan stood on the slope, watching dumbstruck. He had never seen such an all-out intense fight. Normally speaking, Gu masters have limited primeval essence, and they always have to keep 10% of it as reserves, carefully using them, like thin ice. But now, be it Qing Shu or Bai Ning Bing, both were using it without constraints as if they had an unlimited supply of primeval essence. The entire path was wrecked by their battle. Huge trees fell and were destroyed, mountain rocks smashed to bits. After a long time, Bluebird Ice Coffin Gu, Bai Ning Bing grabbed an opportunity and opened his mouth, and from within, an ice blue bird flew out. The flying bird chirped, its body like a pigeon, but under the boost of the northern dark ice soul physique, it gradually turned into the size of an eagle while flying, and after circling for a while, flew towards Gu Yuqing Shu. Gu Yuqing Shu could not dodge in time, so he faced it head on. Bam! A sound explosion later. Gu Yuqing Shu was frozen in an ice crystal as large as a room. It's over. Bai Ning Bing sighed as he had not fully enjoyed himself. He saw the immobile Gu Yuqing Shu within the ice crystal, and muttered, "Thanks for providing me such an interesting experience. This battle is the most exciting one I've had thus far. Qing Shu, your death has meaning. I will remember it clearly." Lord Qing Shu. On the slope, Fang Yuan shouted loudly. "Why are you shouting? You mere ant. The next one will be you." Bai Ning Bing snorted, walking towards Fang Yuan. At this point, the sound of the ice crystal breaking entered his ears. How can this be? He turned around and saw that within the ice crystal, Qing Shu had undergone a massive transformation. His body became bigger, and his rank 2 Gu master outfit was almost ripped. His hair turned into green vines, and palm-sized leaves grew on it endlessly, turning into a thick greenery. His fingers had turned into sturdy wood, his limbs turning into thick tree branches, only having a rough form for his arms and legs. With a sound, the ice crystal broke completely. Gu Yuqing Shu stood up. He had already changed in appearance completely. The original delicate and handsome human face turned into a sharp-nosed, huge-eyed tree spirit-faced. He was 3 meters tall with a strong body, wearing tree barks as his armor, and on them were large amounts of leaves and vines. Bai Ning Bing stared at his transformation in shock. Compared to this Qing Shu, he was like a child beside an adult. This appearance, did you refine the wood charm Gu? This Gu is way harder to refine than my frost demon Gu. Bai Ning Bing found the answer. Tree spirit wood charm can use the essence in the air. No wonder Gu Yuqing Shu had such ample primeval essence. He realized at once, but got more confused. He asked the question in his heart. Qing Shu, using the wood charm Gu like this, aren't you afraid of turning into a dead treeman? So what if you win me? You're destined to die. Bai Ning Bing. Gu Yuqing Shu's voice became low. I understand you like I understand myself. You and I are both orphans, adopted by the clan leader. Yet we walk on such different paths. A tree dying in a forest is nothing. For as long as the forest exists, numerous trees will continue to grow and rise up. Let's have our final battle, my nemesis. Saying so, hundreds of green vines assaulted Bai Ning Bing like giant pythons. For the clan? What a fool. Bai Ning Bing retreated in a rush. But the green vine's speed was faster than before by several times, quickly chasing up to Bai Ning Bing. Bai Ning Bing controlled his body and dodged nimbly. Green vines thick as an arm swept near his body, hitting the soil or the mountain rocks, causing the soil to fly and the rock fragments to scatter. Water shield Gu, Bai Ning Bing could not dodge in time, and created his shield. Qing Shu had seen through the weakness of this Gu worm. He did not attack forcefully, but manipulated the vines to wrap around the shield. Next, he pulled back his strength, and the water shield came into contact. The surface water current moved quickly as it hit the green vines, causing water to splash everywhere. The water shield could not endure the strength of the green vine's restriction and shrunk in size, on the verge of collapsing. Not good. If the water shield breaks and I get entangled in the green vines, I will get killed by Gu Yuqing Shu. Bai Ning Bing in the water shield was sure of his situation. In the next moment, the water shield exploded. Bam! An ice blade storm exploded from within, becoming larger and larger. Bai Ning Bing purposely withdrew the water shield Gu's defense. Since defending couldn't work, He had to fight offense with offense. At once, the temperature fell and cold air emanated. The white ice blade storm flew towards Qingshu. The vines could not stop this tornado and were cut into numerous segments by the ice blades. Nice timing. Guyu Qingshu had no fear, his large body bravely entering the ice blade storm. With a bam, he knocked onto the white color tornado. He opened both hands, wrapping around it. Crack, crack. The sharp ice blades cut through his body, and numerous leaves and tree bark were sent flying. The delayed sense of pain assaulted him as Qingshu growled in pain, but did not let go, using all his strength to grip the tornado. The ice blade storm was actually shrinking under his strength. Damn it! This maniac that doesn't care for his life. Bai Ningbing scolded internally. In this situation there was no other way. He could only create more ice blades and rotate faster, competing with Guyu Qingshu. The ice blades slashed on Qingshu's body and gradually became blunt, but under the ice blade Gu's power, they sharpened once again. The battle was at a stalemate, out of their control, and no one could hold back and stop. Either Guyu Qingshu kills Bai Ningbing, or Bai Ningbing kills Qingshu. Pitting offense with offense, the battle was filled with bravery and intensity. Chapter 142, Guyu Qingshu vs. Bai Ningbing, Part 3. Fang Yuan stood far away, not even daring to take a deep breath as he watched. The battle had reached the climax. The winner and loser will be decided in this showdown. Lord Qingshu, hang in there. Fang Yuan was so nervous his body was shaking. He knew that going over would only cause trouble. Thus he could only cheer for Guyu Qingshu loudly if he heard Fang Yuan's voice. The ice blade storm got smaller, forcefully suppressed by Qingshu. Damn it. I can actually get into a situation where my primeval essence is insufficient. Bai Ningbing gritted his teeth, rotating slower as his primeval essence recovery could not keep up with his expenditure, getting into a helpless situation. The Northern Dark Eye Soul Physique's primeval essence recovery is very fast, but the recovery speed at rank 3 is still slightly inferior to the Tree Spirit's ability to extract natural essence. If Bai Ningbing could cultivate to rank 4, his recovery speed would greatly surpass the Wood Charm Gu. Except, in life and death battles, there is no if, whether it's win or lose, the results have to be accepted. Eventually the ice blade storm stopped, but Guyu Qingshu also paid a heavy price. His arms were large like a horse carriage, and at the moment on his left arm, he had 2 fingers left and 3 on his right. Both his palms were sliced off by half due to the ice blades. But when his palms gradually gathered together towards the middle, new tree branches grew again rapidly from his palm, interweaving together. The 2 palms formed a wooden cage, trapping Bai Ningbing within. Damn it! Bai Ningbing gritted his teeth. His primeval essence was running dry. He could only be at Qingshu's mercy. We won. Far away, Fang Yuan jumped at this sight. Am I going to die? Bai Ningbing shouted in his heart, his eyes widening as he saw the 2 palms approaching. When both palms clasped together, he would be smashed into a bloody meat pie. But the palm's speed became slower and slowly stood in midair. Bai Ningbing was stunned momentarily, before realizing that Guyu Qingshu's body had developed problems, instantly being overjoyed. Damn, I was so close. At this moment, Guyu Qingshu's heart was filled with helplessness. His hands had lost all senses, completely turning into wood at the same time. He gradually lost the connection to his intestines and lungs. The Wood Charm Gu's ability had corroded his entire body, bringing him to the brink of death. No, it cannot end like this. I can still use the Green Vine Gu. Guyu Qingshu forced himself to focus and activated the Green Vine Gu. Numerous thick vines appeared and attacked Bai Ningbing through the openings of the cage. Bai Ningbing dodged quickly, but he had undergone several battles, and his stamina was greatly depleted. Furthermore, there was little space in the cage, and he could not move much. Thus eventually a vine entangled onto his right leg and tripped him. It's over. Qingshu sighed in relief, as he quickly moved tens of green vines to follow up his moment of life and death. Bai Ningbing's aperture finally recovered enough primeval essence for his usage requirement. He used all the primeval essence without further thoughts, sending it all into the ice blade Gu, and formed a new ice blade. The ice blade was sharp and cut off the green vine on his right leg. Bai Ningbing rolled in a sorry state. managing to avoid tens of vines. The green vines hit the ground and penetrated the thick earth. The soil flew around, and the green vines attacked once again. Bai Ningbing breathed heavily as he used the ice blade to defend desperately. The green vines attacked from all directions, as if he was walking on thin ice. A single mistake by Bai Ningbing would cause him to be instantly killed by the vines, but he was after all a top-tier genius. With the stimulation of death, he squeezed out all the potential in him, and his evasive actions became quick and clear. Although he was tripped sometimes by the green vines, he managed to avoid the danger and eventually kept his life. The green vines were cut by the ice blades, and their amount became less and less. It was not that Qing Shu did not want to activate the green vine goo and produce more vines, but it was because the surrounding natural essence had been almost fully absorbed by him. Although outside, there was still essence in the air gathering. The diluted essence in the air was no longer able to fulfill the green vine goo's needs. There was an even worse piece of news. The wood charm goo's strength had completely corroded Gu Yu Qingshu's body and was starting to take over his consciousness. Gu Yu Qingshu's consciousness started to become dazed, and he had intermediate blankouts. The aura of death was blowing on his face. Is it going to end? No, he was indignant, forcing his mind to focus and put in the last-ditch effort in killing Bai Ningbing. He could no longer see anything, for the wood charm goo had taken over his eyes, and he could not hear any longer either. His ears merely an accessory now. He only had a meager sense of touch. Relying on Bai Ningbing's retaliation, he judged the distance and position and attacked. His efforts were rewarded, as Bai Ningbing was finally captured. A vine wrapped around his neck and raised him up, gradually tightening. Bai Ningbing could feel difficulty in breathing. It was no use even if he opened his mouth. Along with Qing Shu, they was progressing towards death. Fang Yuan breathed roughly. An intense battle had ended. On the floor laid 5 corpses with opened eyes. They were all by clan Gu masters, relying on the stealth scales Gu to sneak attack. With the advantage of the Moonglow Gu and the strength of 2 boars along with his 500 years of experience, he displayed shocking abilities. Although he told Qing Shu he was going to return to the village, it was just an excuse. After leaving for a distance, he used the stealth scales Gu to hide himself, moving around the battlefield and going to the area where Manshur and Xiongli died. He collected the Gu worms in Manshur and his groupmates' corpses, and when he got to Xiongli's corpse, he found that the corpse was missing, not to mention their Gu worms. It seems that Xiongling collected their corpses. What a waste. I wanted to get Xiong Li's brown bear innate strength Gu. Fang Yuan sighed. Leaving Xiong Lin alive was not what he wanted. But back then, after he had killed Xiong Jiang, Xiong Lin was already vigilant. Thus killing the latter would expend much effort. That time, Bai Ningbing was close by. If Fang Yuan and Xiong Lin fought, Bai Ningbing would be overjoyed. But the brown bear innate strength Gu might not be on Xiong Li's body. He already has the strength of a bear. He might have given the Gu back to his clan already. Fang Yuan focused his gaze and escaped the mountain path battlefield. Qing Shu and the others fighting against Bai Ningbing would cause a huge commotion, and it will be detected by the surrounding wolf packs and Gu masters. Although Fang Yuan was not optimistic about Qing Shu's group, he had seen firsthand the power of the wood charm Gu in his previous life. Against Bai Ningbing, there would at least be an intense struggle. He was unwilling to give up such a chance. Thus he chose to wait at the surroundings. Times. Gu masters were attracted by the sounds of the intense battle, so Fang Yuan lured some wolf packs over and restrained them. Those that he cannot stop, Fang Yuan would strike with his own hands. The mountain path battlefield's noise has come to a halt. It seems they are deciding the victor already. His right ear had roots growing out, digging into the mountain walls, allowing Fang Yuan to hear some things from the battlefield. Honestly speaking, Qing Shu's performance was better than expected. After Bai Ningbing lost his right arm, the effect on his battle strength was much greater than Fang Yuan had expected. But soon, Fang Yuan's expression changed. He heard large amounts of footsteps from 2 directions, heading towards the battlefield. One direction was from Guyu village, while the other direction was from the Bai clan village. Each group had at least 20 people. It was not something a bold lightning wolf pack could block, and Fang Yuan could not lure 2 groups of wolf over anyway. It seems the news about this battle has been found out by someone. So these are the reinforcements sent by the two clans. I have to enter the mountain path immediately. Fang Yuan's distance was shorter, thus being the first to enter the mountain path. The battlefield scenario was not out of his expectations. From the cage's opening, he could see Bai Ningbing hanging by the vines on his last breath, but was still barely alive. The ice muscles defense are stubbornly sustaining Bai Ningbing's life. Unfortunately, you have encountered me. Fang Yuan's killing intent surged as he took a few steps forwards, sprinting towards Bai Ningbing. Swish, swish, swish. Suddenly, a flurry of pin needles surrounded Fang Yuan like rain droplets. It was Gu Qingshu's pin needle Gu, attacking Fang Yuan. What is going on? Fang Yuan retreated immediately, avoiding the pin needle rain that he focused the gaze at the large tree, realizing at once. It seems that Gu Qingshu's consciousness had been blurred to the point where he can no longer differentiate between friend or foe. He's merely relying on his will and attempting to kill Bai Ningbing. Anyone that intrudes the battlefield would be regarded as an interferer by him. At this moment, Bai Clan Gu masters appeared from the mountain path. Seeing such an intense battlefield, their faces showed a shocked expression. The lad over there, don't make any unnecessary movements. A rank 3 Gu master shouted towards Fang Yuan, his tone full of warning and threat. This Bai Ningbing is such a cockroach. Fang Yuan, seeing this scene, laughed coldly in his heart, knowing that he could not have the last strike. Firstly, Qingshu's consciousness was blurred. A green vine was insufficient to kill Bai Ningbing, who had the ice muscles. For Fang Yuan to get close to Bai Ningbing, he had to break through Qingshu's trap, but this way, it would divert much of his attention and might even help Bai Ningbing in escaping his predicament. Even if they broke through by force, Bai Clan's rank 3 Gu masters and rank 2 elites were not for show, they would definitely stop him. Furthermore, fighting against Bai Ningbing had danger as well. Bai Ningbing's aperture had recovered primeval essence sufficiently to at least use the bluebird ice coffin Gu. Even if Fang Yuan managed to kill Bai Ningbing, these Bai Clan elites would not let go of him. They would definitely kill Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart. The distance is too long. There are at least 20 steps to get to him, and my moon glow. Gu's attack range is only 10 steps. Furthermore, to kill this Bai Ningbing, who is destined to die anyway, I would need to put my life at such risk, greatly interfering with my rebirth plans. It is not worth it. Thinking so, Fang Yuan took a few steps back. This was evidently a weak and cowardly movement, causing the Bai Clan Gu masters to breathe a sigh of relief. Chapter 143. Answer. Soon after, Fang Zheng rushed over as well. Lord Qingshu. He had an exhilarated expression, stupidly running towards Gu Qingshu, but soon was forced to retreat by the pin needles. Group leader, it's me, Fang Zheng. He shouted in shock, sensing something amiss for the first time. But how could Gu Qingshu answer him? Big brother, what's wrong with Lord Qingshu? Fang Zheng, under confusion and shock, could only turn to Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan ignored him, squatting down and grabbing with his right hand, making a claw shape towards Bai Ningbing. Plunder Gu. He secretly activated this Gu. Quickly sensing that he had grabbed something, he quickly pulled back, and a Gu worm flew out of Bai Ningbing's body. It was a red steel relic Gu. This was given to Bai Ningbing by the Bai Clan leader. But Bai Ningbing never used it as he quickly reached rank 3. Cultivation. Now, it became Fang Yuan's loot. Seeing the red steel relic Gu coming out of Bai Ningbing's body and flying away, landing in Fang Yuan's palm, the Bai Clan Gu masters were anxious until their eyes turned red, starting to scream, "Scumbag. If you don't want to die, stop right now. Stealing our Bai Clan Gu worm right in front of us. It's a red steel relic Gu worm." Fang Yuan laughed coldly. Once the red steel relic Gu was obtained, he used the spring autumn cicada to instantly refine it, but did not keep it in his aperture, putting it in his clothes instead, giving the impression that he had not refined them yet. He grabbed once again. This time a gray-colored beetle flew out. Stone aperture Gu. Fang Yuan recognized this Gu immediately. As his eyes shone, he refined it once again and kept it in his arms. Damn it, yet another Gu worm. Stop him, stop him. He dares to do so openly. He does not hold any regard for our Bai Clan. Say Bai Ningbing, kill these guys. The Bai Clan Gu masters growled, running furiously from the mountain path. Bai Ningbing had the full support of his clan, so every Gu worm in his possession was outstanding. Now that they were snatched away by Fang Yuan in public, They all could feel their hearts bleeding. This felt worse than killing them. Seeing these people approaching with their imposing aura, Fang Zheng took a step back in fright, but Fang Yuan was unfazed. In the current scene, he and Fang Jing were at the east side of the mountain path while the Bai Clan Gu masters were at the west, and in the middle of the two sides were Guyu Qing and Bai Ning Bing. Whoosh whoosh. Pin needles rained like cats and dogs. Damn it. Bai Clan Gu masters started scolding, as they were blocked by Guyu Qing. Guyu Qing is going to die any time. The remaining time only allows me to use the plunder Gu once. What would it be this time? Fang Yuan calmed down, using the plunder Gu again. Every time the plunder Gu was used, it expended a large amount of primeval essence. It depended on how strong the target Gu worm was. The harder the process, the more primeval essence is expended. If the plunder fails, the Gu master would even face a backlash. Thus, the plunder Gu was a rather unreliable Gu, with little usage. But at this moment, Bai Ning Bing was almost dead. His consciousness was hazy, and he was almost at his limits. Plundering his Gu worm was not hard at all. Among the Gu worms in Bai Ning Bing's possession, the most valuable is the Frost Demon Gu. This Gu is on par with the Wood Charm Gu, allowing a person to transform into the Frost Demon. But if used for extended periods, it would cause the Gu master's life force to dwindle, turning into an ice statue. Bai Ning Bing knew this weakness, thus he had never been like Guyu Qing, using the Gu to such an extent, other than the Frost Demon Gu. The second most valuable is the Blue Bird Ice Coffin Gu, a rank 3 Gu. Right now, it resides in Bai Ning Bing's throat. If he can plunder the Blue Bird Ice Coffin Gu, it is the best scenario. But the plunder Gu is only a rank 2 Gu. Even if the Gu master wills it, it does not have the ability to do so. Eventually, Fang Yuan caught Bai Ning Bing's Water Shield Gu. This was not bad at all. The Water Shield Gu together with the White Jade Gu could provide Fang Yuan greater defensive power. The tree spirit that Guyu Qing turned into was eventually felled by the Bai Clan Gu masters. They split open the wooden cage and saved the Bai Ning Bing, who had fainted after losing his right arm. Just as they were about to slaughter Fang Yuan and Fang Jing, the Guyu clan reinforcements arrived. The two were at a stalemate for a while, before both retreated in mutual understanding. Qing Shu's death and Bai Ning Bing's injury, with the threat of the wolf tide, such a loss is already horrifying. If a large-scale fighting broke out, for each clan their pressure for survival would intensify greatly. Regardless of which world, people always compete for their own benefits, and the greatest benefit in the world is undoubtedly survival. Eventually, Guyu Qing's corpse and Gu worms were brought back by the Guyu clan's Gu masters. The two sides held caution as they retreated from the battlefield. The sky was raining, and the entire area was gloomy. A group of people stood at a slope behind the village. This was the graveyard. Every now and then, there would be a few more gravestones erected here. In this world, it was tough for people to survive, and whether it is due to external threat or internal cause, there would always be a few sacrifices. The clan elder's voice was low as it entered everyone's ears, making them feel even more down. We have the same surname. We come from the same clan. The same blood flows in our bodies. We are so close together in distance, yet we are forever separated by life and death. This pain aches in my heart. Wait for me. Someday in the future, I will lay beside you as well. Let us turn into ash and soil, as we support our future generations. On a newly erected gravestone, a group of people hung their heads low. Some were crying softly, and some were staring at the name on the tombstone as they were filled with sadness. The cruelty of death was like a white bony arm, slashing a bloody injury on everyone's heart, except that some were already numb from the pain, while others were still too inexperienced. Guyu Fang Zheng was among these people, his drooping eyes staring at the tombstone with Guyu Qing, these 4 words, dead, in his eyes. There was endless uncertainty. Yesterday's battle, the entire process and situation was still imprinted deep in his heart. His experience was limited. He did not understand Guyu Qing's moving and tragic bravery as well as his sacrifice. But now that the truth was in front of him, he could not accept it suddenly. Dead? That kind Lord Qing that always smiles, advises, shows concern, and takes care of me, is actually dead? Why did this happen? Why is it that in this world, good people die easily, while bad people live long? Is this a dream? Am I having a dream right now? Fang Zheng clenched his fists, and the realistic feeling of touch caused him to feel ever more upset. The discussions of the surrounding Gu masters entered his ears. Sigh. I can't believe that this time, even Lord Qing sacrificed himself. Humans will eventually die, but it is too much of a pity. I heard that Bai Ningbing still had a breath of vitality left. He was eventually saved. May he rest well underground, and bless us with the hopes of surviving this wolf tide." The crowd slowly dispersed, until Fang Zheng was the last one left. The young man's lonely shadow, facing the graveyard full of tombstones alone. Lord Qing. He suddenly kneeled on the ground, his tears falling on the ground. He was lost, he was regretful, he was in pain. Drip, drip drop, drip drop, bean-sized raindrops fell from the dark clouds, hitting on the ground, causing the leaves and tree branches to bend. The smell of the earth rushed into Fang Zheng's nostrils, and he wept in painful grief. The sound of his crying and the raindrops mixed together. His 10 fingers grabbed the soil, trying to retrieve Qing Shu's life, but eventually he only had 2 handfuls of soil. It started raining, and Bai Ningbing lay upon a soft bed, staring at this rain blankly. His right arm, which was broken, was already taken care of, wrapped with a white bandage. His eyes also returned to black, but his cultivation was rank 3. He had no longer suppressed it to rank 2. When he woke up from his slumber, he suddenly lost all spirits, feeling extremely empty. He laid on his bed peacefully. His eyes opened for over 10 hours. He let the rank 3 white-silver primeval essence nurture his aperture. He couldn't bother to care about it. This rain triggered the deepest memories in his heart. It was under such a summer rain that he was officially adopted by the Bai clan leader. The clan leader's benevolent and hopeful gaze fell on him, as the surrounding clan elders gave their words of congratulations, gushing in like tidal waves. The young him stood on the icy ground barefooted, and he stared at the rain outside the window. But all he felt was being lost and lonely. What is the meaning of living? This question troubled him for 20 over years, and could continue to trouble him, until the problem of his self-explosion surfaced again. Is it for kinship, for the clan? Bai Ningbing unavoidably thought of Guyu Qing Shu. From young to adulthood, he had seen such a sacrifice many times. Sometimes it is a Bai clansman, sometimes they were from Guyu clan or Xiong clan. He could not understand these fanatics. He was born as a cold and emotionless person. Guyu Qing Shu could not give him answers. Thus Bai Ningbing thought of Fang Yuan. The first time he saw Fang Yuan was sitting by a tree, eating a wild fruit he picked, emotionlessly starting at the battle below. He was excited until his body shuddered, shivering with excitement. The reason was that he saw himself from Fang Yuan's similar eerie abyss-like iris. But now that he thought about it, Fang Yuan's gaze had something more than him. That thing is the answer to his questions. The rain got heavier and thunder rumbled while lightning flashed in the sky. What is the meaning behind living? In the dark room, Guyu Fangzheng asked the same question. Guyu clan leader, Guyu sighed. He stared pitifully at the young man who had lost his soul, and then looked outside the window, at the rain. Fang Zheng's doubt was understandable. An unavoidable death always urges people to think behind the true value of existence. You know something? More than 10 years ago, there was another young man with a similar situation as you, and asked me the same question. Long after, Guyu started to speak. That person is your clan leader's, my adopted son, Guyu Qing Shu. Fang Zheng was momentarily stunned, raising his head. A pair of swollen red eyes, showing an intense urge for answers. Chapter 144. Sacrifice is common, and faith is undying. I said to him, a person has 1,001 reasons to live. Why are you alive? I cannot answer that. Only you have the answer. Go find it yourself, Guyu said. Then clan leader, what is your answer for yourself? Fang Zheng blinked in confusion, asking. Guyu laughed. In his eyes, Fang Zheng and Qing Shu's images were overlapping. Guyu Qing Shu had asked the same question in the past. Clan leader thought for a moment, recalling the past, then repeating the same answer he gave back then. An organization is bound to have sacrifices. From the moment a person is born, death is imminent. Between life and death, humans are fragile, but one thing can warm the heart and shine upon our souls. That is love. This is my answer. Sacrifice is common. Guyu Qing Shu is Guyu's adopted son, and after raising him for so many years, his current sacrifice brought great pain to this foster father. But as clan leader, he had seen far too many sacrifices. When one has the resolution of life and death, pain and grief becomes more acceptable. Fang Zheng lowered his head, keeping silent. It seems he was thinking. Clan leader laughed, taking a letter from the drawer in his desk. He handed it to Fang Zheng. This is Guyu Qing Shu's letter. It records the answers to questions he's been thinking about for years. I am handing it to you now. You can take a look. This is his answer. Undoubtedly, Fang Zheng's current heart had intense attraction to this letter. He opened it on the spot. And after seeing the first line, his tears could not help but flow out. It was Gu Yuqingshu's familiar handwriting. In his words there was his unique amicable aura. The starting paragraph recorded his perplexity and pain. Next was the situations that had given him some ideas through continuously thinking about them these past years. Fang Yuan looked at the letter and felt like he had experienced Gu Yuqingshu's entire life. He followed Gu Yuqingshu's footsteps until he finished the entire letter. At the end, this was recorded. The clan is like a forest, and we members are like the trees in the forest. The old trees extend their branches and shelter the young from rain and wind. When the young trees grow into large and tall trees, the old trees will turn into the nutrients in the soil, fertilizing the land and nurturing new trees. People will always die, and heaven and earth will not remember us. But new trees are the proof that the old trees have existed. Under this continuous testament, the clan forest becomes larger and spreads further, walking towards the path of prosperity and flourishment. People are bound to die. As Gu Masters, we cannot hide from impending death. Even rank 7 and 8 Gu Masters can merely live a little longer. Towards death, I feel fear as well. But I understand deeply, eventually, one day Gu Yuqingshu will die too. I might die of old age, illness, or the battlefield. But at that moment, I can leave peacefully with no regrets. At the end of the letter, Lord Foster Father, the question I asked you before, I think I have found the answer. After seeing the letter, Fang Yuan wept soundlessly. In his mind, it was filled with memories of Qingshu. When he committed a mistake, Qingshu did not blame but instead comforted him. When facing trouble, the gaze of encouragement was given, and when in a loss, the hands of Qingshu would warmly touch Fang Zhang's head. Gu Yibo kept the letter and said, in future, when you think of the answer, you can also write a letter and tell me. Go, return, and have a rest. The danger of the wolf tide is not over. We need you to contribute your strength as well. No, Fang Zhang slowly raised his head, clenching his fists. What? Guibo asked. I found my answer. Fang Zhang's tone was filled with indescribable determination as he continued. I want strength. To protect my family, and protect them from any harm. I want to protect the clan, and strengthen the clan. I want the wolf tide to no longer be able to torture us. I want to see the happiness of joy of my companions. This pain, I do not want it to repeat. I want to use my pair of hands, my body, my soul, to protect those around me. Yibo showed an expression of surprise, and at this moment, he felt that he saw Gu Yuqingshu. Qingshu, you did not die in vain. Seeing Fang Zhang's shining eyes, clan leader sighed emotionally in his heart. An old tree has fallen. And just as it gradually decays away in the soil, a new sprout is already starting to grow rapidly. Renzu was unable to endure the heart of loneliness, thus he dug out both eyes, turning them into a son and daughter. This alleviated his sense of loneliness. But good things do not last, for his children started to crave the scenery of the outside world, forgetting all about their father Renzu and always going out to play until they forgot the time. And even forgot to take care of Renzu. Renzu could not see anything, it was total darkness. But at time, he could see a little bit of light. To this, he felt perturbed, and asked the Attitude Gu. Attitude Gu told this to him. Oh, this is the eternal light given out by the Faith Gu. Faith. By Ning Bing seeing this, laughed, and threw the book that recorded the ancient legends out. The door was opened at this moment, and the person entering was almost hit in the face by the book. Ning Bing, what are you doing? The one entering was the Bai clan leader. He frowned, consoling. I know your mood is bad, but losing your right arm is nothing. In this world, there are many Gu worms that can heal such an injury. In the past, I got the clan elders to stay by your side and protect you, but you always rejected it, and even attacked the clan elders. You finally suffered a loss this time, huh? But this is a good thing. Since young you've had too smooth of a path, but as long as it is not death, such a loss is no big deal. Your injuries are already healed, but the wolf tide is getting more ferocious. The clan needs your strength. A bunch of wolf cubs, what can they amount to? Bai Ning Bing shut his eyes, lying on the bed and answering nonchalantly. Clan leader's face showed a serious expression. The situation is not looking good, or rather, it is pessimistic. According to our reconnaissance, there are already 3 frenzy lightning wolf packs moving near the village. Your failure brought a great influence to our clansmen. I hope that tonight, you can come out and show yourself. As long as you are standing, it can greatly motivate our clansmen. Do you understand? I get it. I get it. It's a small matter. Bai Ning Bing responded, showing impatience. If it was any other person acting like this to the clan leader, they would have gotten heavily punished, But Bai Ningbing was different. Bai clan leader sighed helplessly, closing the door and leaving. When the room had only Bai Ningbing left, he opened his eyes, showing a gaze full of loneliness and perplexity. He did not tell the others about the problem with his body and the premonition of death that he was feeling from the clan's ancient records. He found out the name of the Northern Dark Eye Soul Physique. In that limited information, the 10 extreme physiques were also known as the absolute death talents, for when the aperture walls reach their limits, the self-destructive power would be extremely great. It is true that the Bai clan leader had raised Bai Ningbing for many years, being so lenient to him. However, if the matter of the Northern Dark Eye Soul Physique was exposed, Bai Ningbing had no doubt that the first person to kill him would be this Bai clan leader. What's the point of a person being alive? In the past, when he considered this question, Bai Ningbing would feel lost, feeling emotions like boredom, frustration, and anger, all these negative emotions. But now, his heart felt a sense of peacefulness. People would grow up. Not to mention a genius like him. In the past, he knew that he was going to die, thus in his despair he longed to live, and he felt a sense of fear towards death deep in his heart. But now, after he had almost died, he had gotten over it. Allowing the rank 3 white silver primeval essence to nurture his aperture, he was no longer worried. After all, he was no longer afraid of death. Even though he was still lost about the meaning of living, he knew where the answer was. This answer was already in Fang Yuan's heart. This feeling was indescribable. It was like an instinct, but he was clear of it. Moreover, the stone aperture goo was in Fang Yuan's hands. Fang Yuan, we will meet again, he lightly muttered, his eyes shining with a brilliant light, like the glimmer of a diamond. Stone aperture goo. In the rented house, Fang Yuan held the goo worm in his hands, falling into deep thought. Stone aperture goo was like a dice, cubic, and had a gray-white body, extremely sturdy. This goo was an expenditure-type goo, gone after one use. Its use was to turn a goo master's aperture wall into a sturdy rock wall. This act completely squeezes the aperture's potential and growth dry, allowing the goo master to reach peak stage cultivation. For example, Fang Yuan was now a rank 2 middle stage. So after using the goo, he can instantly become rank 2 peak stage, but the price is, Fang Yuan would no longer have the possibility to advance to rank 3. At the same time, he would lose the ability to regenerate primeval essence, thus he would only be able to use primeval stones to replenish them. The stone aperture goo was for some goo masters who were at their wits' end. For some goo masters' aperture that suffered an unrecoverable injury, developing cracks and can't be healed, they would have to use this goo. Or in special situations, the goo master has no hopes of advancing and need to raise their cultivation quickly to live. Thus they will use this goo. The cost of refining this stone aperture goo is very high. Seeing that Bai Ningbing refined this goo worm, he probably wants to convert his aperture into a stone aperture to prevent the imminent death. Unfortunately, this method can only delay his death, but cannot stop his destruction. If the Northern Dark Eye Soul Physique is so easily broken, how can it be called a 10 extreme physique? This stone aperture goo is useless to Fang Yuan, but the red steel relic goo he got from Bai Ningbing's body as well as the water shield goo were very useful. As for the goo worms Fang Yuan extracted from Gu Yuman and the others' bodies, they were not outstanding, and once he returned to the clan he had them exchanged for large amounts of merit points. Because of the wolf tide, the issue of Qing Shu and Bai Ningbing's battle was suppressed by all 3 clans, controlling their urges. The 3 clans needed each other's power to survive this ordeal first. Xiong Lin's report exposed the fact that Fang Yuan possessed the white jade goo, but he used the reason of buying it from the caravan to get through for the time being. Chapter 145. Sacrifices are encouraged. As a person involved, Fang Yuan had to go through the clan's investigation. It was not an in-depth investigation. The ever-growing severity of the wolf tide had attracted almost all the attention of the clan's higher-ups. Fang Yuan's earth communication eargrass and stealth scales goo were still concealed, but even if they were exposed, Fang Yuan could just attribute it to the caravan. In any case, communications had already been severed due to the wolf tide. The caravan won't be coming. Under such circumstances, the clan couldn't obtain the confirmation from the caravan and could only delay the investigation. When the results of any investigation truly came out, Fang Yuan would have already become a rank 3 and left Qingmao Mountain. Of course, if the 4 flavors liquor worm and spring-autumn cicada were exposed, it would be a completely different matter. Either of them could cause a huge commotion in the village if exposed. 4 flavors liquor worm represented a whole new fusion recipe and had extremely significant meaning. Fang Yuan wouldn't be able to explain it even if he pushed it onto the caravan and would be thoroughly investigated by the clan. In spring-autumn cicada? If it was discovered, the wolf tide would be greatly sidelined. This is a rank 6 gu after all. Even the clan head Guyubo would immediately dispense with the civilities. The nonsense of kinship and the clan head position could all be given up. There was no doubt that it would be forcibly seized. July was month of a scorching hot summer, and the hot air was filled with the iron smell of blood. The wolf tide was growing more serious and fights were becoming more intense. Many had begun to realize that the wolf tide this time was of a rarely seen enormous scale among all of past history. Bold lightning wolf packs had fallen to a supporting role now. Thousand Beast King Frenzy lightning wolf packs had started to roam nearby the village. Mankind's living space had shrunk down to an extreme level. Even Gyu clan headquarters were as such. There was no need to mention the village at the foot of the mountain. 9 out of 10 houses were empty, and a portion of fortunate villagers were living in the clan by utilizing all kinds of connections. But the majority of the villagers could only leave their homes and make an arduous journey to evade the wolf tide. Their destination was another mountain village. But the fierce beasts, wild goo, and the lightning wolves that filled the whole mountain reduced their hopes to an almost negligible amount. This was a hopeless journey. Gyu clan could only give up on these mortals. They would all die before they even reached halfway to their destination, either because of the fierce beasts or due to attacks from insects. No matter if it was mortals or goo masters, they were all struggling between life and death. Even the elders, who usually had a high position, had no choice but to don their armors and go to the battlefield. The goo masters that had retired were enlisted again. When the wolf tide ends, those that managed to live on would definitely not surpass even 1/10. The cruelty of nature was displayed in all its glory at this moment. It was the survival of the fittest, and in no way could it be avoided by speaking words of warmth. Fang Yuan sat cross-legged on the bed. His eyes were closed as he looked at his aperture. In his aperture, 44% of red steel sea waves were surging up and down. These primeval essence were all dark red. It was the rank 2 peak stage dark red primeval essence. Rank 2 primeval essence were collectively called red steel primeval essence. But it had 4 different small realms: initial stage, middle stage, upper stage, and peak stage. There were also slight differences in the red steel primeval essence. Rank 2 initial stage primeval essence was light red. Middle stage primeval essence was scarlet. Upper stage was crimson, and peak stage was dark red. Many days ago, Fang Yuan had advanced to upper stage. His crimson primeval essence went through 4 flavors: liquor worms refinement, and along with the replenishment from primeval stones, it had completely changed to the current dark red primeval essence. Right now, the aperture wall was no longer a watery membrane with the flowing light, but it was instead a thick stone membrane formed by layers upon layers of piled-up white light. White jade goo and stealth scales goo were in the depths of the red steel sea. 4 flavors liquorworm was playing around in the sea, but when the spring-autumn cicada slowly showed up, it immediately sunk towards the depths of the sea. Under the aura of the spring-autumn cicada, the surface of the whole primeval sea became as calm and smooth as a mirror without the slightest wave. Spring-autumn cicada's condition was getting better. Its 2 wings were completely recovered, appearing like a pair of tender leaves. Only its main body was still withered. Fang Yuan would check on spring-autumn cicada every so often. He could clearly sense the recovery speed of spring-autumn cicada increasing rapidly. The spring-autumn cicada was like a dying patient before, one who couldn't even open their mouths to eat and could only take in liquid food to preserve their life force. Now, this patient could get off the bed and eat much more food to nourish itself. The recovery speed would naturally become faster. Besides the spring-autumn cicada, there were 2 new members in Fang Yuan's aperture. They were both taken from Bai Ningbing. One was water shield goo, which looked like a jellyfish as it floated in the sea. Another was red steel relic goo. Fang Yuan's advancement to upper stage was because of the purified primeval essence by the 4 flavors liquor worm and continuous nourishment of the aperture wall, causing a qualitative change. Fang Yuan hadn't used the red steel relic goo. Just based on cultivation level, Fang Yuan would already be the 3rd highest person among rank 2 goo masters of Guyue clan. Xiangli and Qingshu were dead. Fang Yuan was in the top 5 even among the whole Qingmao Mountain. As for Qi Shan and Mo Yin, they originally were at rank 2 upper stage but had advanced to peak stage not long ago. This could be said to have aroused the morale of the clansmen who were down after Qingshu's sacrifice. Fang Yuan was progressing and others naturally were also progressing. Qishan and Mo Yin had been in upper stage for quite a bit of time and had continuously been pressured by the peak stage Qing Shu. The intense stimulation of death brought by the wolf tide caused Gu masters to have a deep thirst for power, squeezing out their potential and leading to cultivation advancement. But if we count fighting strength, I am the number one among the rank 2 Gu masters of the whole Qingmao Mountain. Now, after I use this red steel relic Gu, my cultivation will rise to peak stage, and when combined with my deep experience, I can even battle rank 3 Gu masters to a certain degree, Fang Yuan calculated. His low profile and patience had brought him plentiful gains now. He could advance to this stage with just C-grade aptitude. The whole clan would be shocked if they knew this. Even the A-grade aptitude Fang Zheng was only at rank 2 middle stage. Naturally, even if he advanced to peak stage, Fang Yuan couldn't win against rank 3 Gu masters. Bai Ningbing was able to surpass levels and kill a rank 3 Gu master because of his northern dark eye soul physique. Gu Qingshu also could do that because he had the Wood Charm Gu, a powerful and special rank 3 Gu worm. In actuality, Fang Yuan had a much stronger trump card than them, Spring-Autumn Cicada. However, this rank 6 Gu was very special, and Fang Yuan forced himself to not use it. Spring-Autumn Cicada hadn't fully recovered, and if it was forcefully used, whether it could rebirth would be a huge question mark. The red steel relic Gu was only effective to rank 2 Gu masters. There was no value in keeping it. Fang Yuan was just about to use this Gu when there came a knock on the door. Dong, dong, dong. Lord Fang Yuan, it is me, Gu Jiangye, a voice shouted after the knocking. Fang Yuan frowned. This Jiangye was getting more overbearing recently. He would repeatedly look for him to ask for vitality leaves. The number of deaths and crippled people were increasing, causing the price of the vitality leaves to become increasingly higher and even becoming a situation of high demand but no supply. How many times have I told you that I don't have more vitality leaves? Get lost. Fang Yuan coldly snorted. How could he give up his cultivation time for trifle primeval stone's earnings? Outside the door, Jiangye had a flattering smile on. Lord Fang Yuan, please appease your anger. You are aware of the current situation. What choices do I have? Many Gu masters know I sell vitality leaves and they all look for me. It is not easy for the little me to pass my days. How about this? I will pay 10% more. Lord Fang Yuan, please be kind and give me a dozen vitality leaves. After speaking, he started begging and his sound carried some sobbing. Fang Yuan was indifferent. That is your affair. What does it have to do with me? Humph. Your guts are getting bigger these days. You forgot the agreement between us and actually brought someone else. Ah. Jiangye gave a bitter smile outside the door. He looked at the old Gu master beside him. He had no other way. This Gu master was very powerful and had stubbornly followed him here. Little friend Fang Yuan. This old Gu master spoke. I am Gu Yuyi. I believe you have heard of me. I came to purchase some vitality leaves and hope you, little friend, can show me some respect and give a little time to produce some. Give you respect. Heh, what reputation do you have? Fang Yuan sneered. This Gu Yuyi was somewhat famous. He was a retired Gu master, but had been brought back by the clan due to the wolf tide. At his peak period, he had reached rank 3. However, because of injuries, his cultivation dropped down to rank 2 peak stage, and now due to his old age, his cultivation had further dropped down to rank 2 upper stage. Although his cultivation was the same as Fang Yuan, his fighting strength could not be compared to the latter. Gu Yuyi's expression was ashen. He had long heard of this eccentric loner Fang Yuan, a lad with a vicious and stubborn temper, arrogant and rude, considering everyone beneath him. He had prepared his heart before he came here, but to think that he had still underestimated Fang Yuan. He wanted to use his reputation. But this usually successful method had no effect on Fang Yuan. He felt his face burning and his heart filled with anger. He had lost all his honor right now. This disrespectful son of a bitch. He cursed inwardly, but didn't leave. He needed the vitality leaves. He was an experienced man and deeply knew the importance of the vitality leaves. In times, a vitality leaf could mean the difference between life and death. As one gets old, their courage starts to shrink. Back when he was young, he was hot-blooded and easily excited. He wanted to protect the clan's people. He wanted to change the world. He wanted to become a great hero. In those times, he had the resolution to view death as a return home. However, right now he was old and was much more cool-headed. He had seen through many aspects of life in these years and could be said to have reflected on himself. Especially after several of his children died, his heart had grown more cold. Any organization needs sacrifices. Resources are limited. Although they are produced all the time, they are also consumed. As such, this add and decrease limits the total amount. Humans need food, clothes, and lodging to survive. These are resources. Goo masters need goo worms, primeval stones, and food to cultivate. These are also resources. Becoming strong requires even more resources. But if you don't sacrifice, then where can I get more resources? I rather compromise others than sacrifice my benefits. Protecting, honor, family love, dreams, hot blood, they are all honorable reasons for sacrificing. There are no organizations that do not encourage self-sacrifice. However, the higher-ups would never say that. They would instead talk of protecting, honor, family love, dreams, hot blood, happiness, and so on, and give all kinds of material benefits. However, the material benefits are just nonsense once one dies. What could a dead great hero enjoy? Look at Gu Qingshu. He blissfully died and was buried in the soil, his name carved in the gravestone as his spirit continues to influence future heroes.